Hello and welcome back to Queenscrafts by Bridget. Today we are going to knit some socks. Some just plain vanilla socks. We are going to do my favorite out of the things that I've learned over my sock knitting fun. We're going to knit something more like this. Now yours won't be stretched out like mine. I have a disorder that my ankles are ginormous, and with my blood I stretch out my socks, and they will go back once I wash them again. So what you will need to make your socks is, if you're going to make them exactly like I do, you will need your Hiya sharps in 2.5 millimeter. These are 9-inch circulars. You will also need a set of DPNs in 2.5. Now these are Chalgu. You can use Hiya, you can use off-brand. With your DPNs, it does not matter. It is a good idea to have a stitch fixer tool or a small crochet hook, just in case you drop a stitch. A stitch or row counter, also a big help. A nice sharp pair of scissors. Some stoppers, so while you're not working on your project, your stitches don't go flying off the end. Some of your little light bulb stitch markers for marking how many rows you've done. And now you don't have to use one like this. You can use just the light bulbs, but a stitch marker to mark your first stitch of the round. You will also need at least a 50-gram ball of sock yarn. This is Superwash Merino 7525, brand, color, all that, not important. This is a 100-gram ball, but 50 grams should do most people. Now if you have very large feet, or you're making for hubby, you might want to get at least 100 grams. Okay, for this video we are going to work on cast on, cuff, and leg. For our cast on, you will need 2 of your DPNs. Okay, to cast on, I do long tail cast on, so you're going to want to give yourself a pretty good long tail. You put the tail over your thumb, your working yarn over your pointer, and I hold mine like this. I take 2 of my DPNs. Now I do this so that my cast on is nice and stretchy and I don't have to fight with that first round. If you wish to cast on directly to your needle, your working needle, that is more than fine. I do it this way so I have a little extra stretch. I do not put a slip knot. If you wish to put a slip knot, that is fine. I, however, do not put any knots in my socks whatsoever. I put my needles facing downwards, bring them back around and up. That is my first stitch. Now I'm going to go under here, over the middle one, under, back out, and there we go. Now watch again. Under, over, under, over, under, out. And I'm going to do this a total of 64 times. I will come back when I have gotten all 64 cast on, and I will show you the next step. Okay, we have 64 stitches cast on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out, it's a little fiddly to do, you're going to take out one of the DPNs, hold on to it, make sure that nothing goes flying off the end. Okay, so then we are just going to quickly transfer our stitches from the DPN to our working sock needle. And I will meet you when I've got all 64 stitches transferred over to show you what we do next. Okay, so we have all the stitches transferred over. We're going to make sure that we don't have anything twisted. It's all going in the same direction. Now, we are going to pass the last stitch cast on over to our right side needle. And then we're going to take the first stitch cast on and we're going to pass it underneath. This is quite fiddly to do with the camera in the middle. There we go. Just like that. There we go. Shoot. Snug that up like that. Snug it down. Now we are going to place our marker so we don't lose that. That is, our first stitch has become our last and our last stitch has become our first to close off our circle. So now it's going to be very, very fiddly, this first stitch, but I promise you after this round it gets much easier. We are going to knit our first stitch and then we are going to take it off. We're going to put our yarn to the front and we are going to purl through the front loop. So we're going to go in through the front of the legging on the front side of the needle. We'll go in and finish your stitch. Then we're going to put our yarn, our working yarn, back to the front and we are going to knit. And then we are going to purl through the front loop again. Right here. Purl through the front loop. And knit. And purl through the front loop. Sorry. Get a little out of frame. And knit. Purl through that front loop. And if you split your stitch, just redo it. No big deal. And knit. And see, you're in here. Go into the front of that stitch. And purl through the front loop. Now I do this one because again it's just a little bit stretchier. You can choose to knit purl, just a regular purl stitch, into how to do that. I will make a video later on, or you can look for other videos here on YouTube. But I'm going to get all the way to the beginning and meet you up then. And you're going to end with a purl through the back loop. And that's row 1, or round 1. Round 2, we are going to do the exact same thing. We're going to move our marker over. And we're going to knit 1, purl through the back loop, split my stitch there. Knit one, purl through the back loop. We are going to do this until we reach 10 completed rounds. Once you have gotten 10 completed rounds, come and meet me back and I will give you the next step and your homework until the next video. And that is round number 10. Now, just in case you forgot to count or forgot to hit your counter, let me show you real quick how to double check, make sure you have proper number of rounds. You can count your bars going up. So, let's see. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have our 10 rounds. Now, we're going to move our marker over, and we are simply going to knit every single stitch all the way around for the next 20 rounds. Now, as I said in the beginning, if you choose to go longer or shorter, that is completely fine. There is no right or wrong. You just want to make sure that you have the same number of rounds on your first sock as you do your second. So I am going to keep knitting, and I will come back to you when I've got my 20 rounds. And we will work on the heel in our next video. I have completed my 20 rounds. I just wanted to show you this is something I do. I put a little marker every 10th round, and I leave it there until I've completed sock number 2, so we don't have any of that icky second sock syndrome and having to trust our memory on how long we went from cuff to heel. All right, finish up your homework and we'll see you in the next video.